Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Lolcow News Network. I'm your host with the most, Sam, and today we're going to kind of run through a rough timeline, specifically regarding, well, the god of Lolcows and his never-ending love quest. Well, potentially ended love quest, I should say now. But let's get into it. So, first and foremost, we have Sarah Hammer. Now, for those of you who don't know who Sarah Hammer is, I'm not going to go through a complete and total rundown of who these people are, I just want to make that clear now. But Sarah was definitely the first person that Chris tried to bond with. She was well known to be his first manipulator. Then there was Tiffany Robinson, Natasha Turner, Laura, Kelly, Tiffany. A lot of these names, we hear about throughout the entirety of Christory solely because, we know and hear a lot about Chris's gal pals from when he was in school, but there are still allegations that Bob more than likely paid these people to be friends with Chris. Let's see. Now, there's also Anna McLaren. She was an employee of PacSun at the Fashion Square Mall, which, man, if y'all don't know what PacSun is, fuck, that place was awesome. Then there's Hannah. Hannah is definitely a special one. For those of you who don't know, Hannah was one of Chris's real first trolls. She was a fake, quote, sweetheart, and realistically the first person that Chris ever kind of dated with. From what I remember, I think she was a Starbucks employee at the time. He definitely included her within the Sonichu comics. But, man. It got kind of wild because Chris, this one definitely broke his heart, and I felt a little bit bad for him at first, but, as time went on, you start to realize, oh shit, I shouldn't feel that bad for this person. They are doing this to themselves. But let's see. Then we have Lindsay. Lindsay was someone Chris met on MySpace, attended PVCC, and was actually pretty chill with him. Chris was open with, his personal life and all that good shit, but Megan Schroeder. Oh, Megan Schroeder is definitely Chris's epitome. He originally met her at the Game Place, which, if you don't know what the Game Place is, then, well, you need to kind of learn up on Christory. But they did form some type of friendship for a while, and Chris was fucking completely obsessed with Megan. Chris, when it came to Megan, would not take no for an answer. And that's what's really creepy. It got to the point that she emailed him with what effectively boiled down to fuck off. Then we had Lori, or, Joshua Martinez, again, through MySpace, and I think Joshua was also the same one who tried to make Chris think that, or tried to catfish him and pretend to be Vanessa Hudgens. I don't remember, it's been a minute. Then there was Blanca, another individual introduced in the Sonichu comics. Chris had suspicions, but he also became... fucking Chris being the player he is, he started seeing another person at the same time, causing some, well, for us, comedy, but friction to Chris. But Chris obliged his trolls, and, it went how it went. Then there was Sarah Jackson. Fucking hell. Yeah, Sarah Jackson was another troll. Jesse, wait a minute, Jesse. I think Jesse was Blue Spike. I'm not 100% sure, and there's a reason we're going through all of this. Then there was Chloe, Panda Halo, Caitlin, and the ever so infamous Julie. Emily, who was Chris's first real date. But we all know Emily for the man with the pickle suit, Kim Wilson. Kim was one of Emily's pseudonyms. Again, this all gets kind of crazy, and it's all being covered in another video. There's Ivy O'Neill, who Ivy and Julie were involved together. For those of you who don't know who Julie is, Julie was Blue Spike, which, again, in my opinion, Blue Spike is still a bit worse than Bella. But then there was Casey, but if I remember right, Casey had something to do with the Liquid Chris saga. Chris was trying to impersonate Liquid, it got fucking wild. There was Regina, then the Wallflower, Jackie, Catherine. Now, Chris, there was one individual from YouTube who Chris, again, the man will get fucking obsessed with something Doopy do-over. Doopy is best known for her work on the Planet Dolan channel. She eventually blocked Chris and removed him as a Patreon because of the sheer harassment that came from Chris's weens. And she wasn't really comfortable with, Chris, who is notoriously struggling financially, giving her money. And he was also being let's face it, it's Chris, but he was being extremely creepy. Then Jessica Quinn, who started out as a white knight in 2015. Again, a lot of this is crazy. Jessica came into the picture around the same time that the Doopy Do-Over saga was kind of hitting. It was also at that same time that Chris rejoined Kiwi Farms to do a QA thread. Then there's Brian, the creator of the ChrisChan's prequel comics. Brian is someone we'll get into later, but he is definitely one of the few people that tried to hold Chris accountable. And then there's, my personal favorite of all of Chris's lovers, Jacob Sockness. Jacob Sockness, for those of you who don't know, he is a hard fucking core white knight ween. He came into the picture in 2018, had a stroke of luck in 2019 because Chris followed him, despite Chris's insane levels of homophobia at the time. And then, that was also around the time that the Idea guys were in the picture too, but my god, I can't tell if Jacob Sockness is a troll or if he genuinely wants to fuck Chris. And I ain't gonna lie, man, Chris, buddy, look, if Jacob's trying to fuck you and offer to take care of you, move the hell in with him. Then there was Annie. She was, she had something to do with Prater. I'm still not 100% sure. I'm gonna keep it real. There is a large part of me that really wants to say Barbara, but in a previous video of mine, someone actually left a comment that pointed out, look, Barb would have been absolutely devastated if she was coherent, and you know what? They were right on that. I'm gonna do my best to avoid those jokes from here on, because the fact is, the jokes are kind of fucked up. There was Fiona, 19-year-old autistic woman, and Chris claimed her to be his first real sweetheart. And Fiona and Bella had something to do together. Now, Bella, for those of you who somehow do not know who Bella is the one who recorded the calls wherein Chris admitted to the Mamaw molestation, and then eventually leaked them. Bella tried to create, fake text and where Chris was saying he did BDSM with Barb. Bella, for those of you who don't know, is completely fucking batshit. Her dad is also some kind of high-ranking government employee or military official. I don't fucking know, but honestly, there have been questions on the ChrisChan's subreddit asking, okay, well, what is Bella's dad going to try to sue Chris because he's talk shit and this, that, and the third, but honestly, I think he's just going to try to keep as far away from it as possible, and I don't blame him one bit. And now, last but not least, the most important of them all. The one that's really kind of had everyone captivated for the most part, and I hesitate to say I can understand why, but I do understand why people are kind of captivated and confused, wondering who this person is. So with that, we'll just kind of jump into this person. Now, I'm going to kind of stay vague on some things, but we'll get into that in a moment. But the individual in question is someone we have seen Chris photoed with and videoed with, Flutter. Now, in one of Chris's recent videos, I want to say it was the one where he addressed he said allegations, but we all know what he was really doing. But he mentioned her by the name of Flutter. Now, there's a lot of mystery surrounding Flutter. Who is Flutter? Why does she look so young? Chris has alleged she's 30. Now, I've mentioned before in a video, I have managed to dig up some information on her. I'm not going to go about and release it. The only reason I even went and did that level of digging is because of how young she looked. And that had me deeply concerned that, oh shit, is Chris about to pull a Jared from Subway on us? Luckily, everything I found confirms her age. She is 30. I don't want to give out any information that could potentially put any of her shit out there, but here's where I'm at. I don't know if she's a troll or someone who genuinely likes Chris. And look, let's say it's the latter. That's awesome if Chris finally found someone who can get past all of his bullshit. I don't know. Some of the accounts of hers that I found were completely locked down. And obviously, being in a relationship with Chris, let's say it's a case of she is one of those people who goes around and tries to date people who are getting out of jail or what have you. Eventually, she's going to find out who Chris is. I mean, if not from, the trolls or just Googling him, to Chris just running his own fucking mouth about Sonichu and everything, which I'm assuming she knows about. I don't know. There's still a lot of speculation, and until she comes out and addresses everything publicly, we're only going to be able to sit here and speculate. Chris has kind of went back to his radio silence. He's just liking stuff on Twitter. He did make a tweet earlier today, but it was solely addressing the Etsy shop, and Etsy orders apparently having a fucking smell with them, to no one's surprise. But I don't know. There's still a lot of mystery surrounding her, even with what I was able to find. And before anyone says anything, look, the only reason I was able to find information on her is I used to do that kind of stuff for a living. I found info on them. That sounds bad, but, it was just kind of part of the job I worked at that time, and it left me with enough skills where I can go and try to verify, hey, is this person actually held that this person claimed? And I'm glad I was able to, because in this case, it looks like Chris didn't go off the deep end. She is definitely older than 18. If she's actually 30, I couldn't say, but everything I found on her points to her being 30. Anyway, though, if you all like the video, please like, subscribe, comment. There will definitely be more in the future, and take it easy.